3 times. So what do you feel that a tournament leader can do, Chris? It's really a difficult situation as this young man has all the momentum.
Right. 3 wins, 24 strikes. Shot number 1. So, in your march to 17 PBA titles, did you prefer the top spot?
Top spot is a great place to be, Chris, if you learn how to bowl from that position. And my experience tells me is to cut the hook down, go with more speed, be very aggressive in the early frames. Dick Weber taught me that lesson, and it's a good one to learn. It's a way to stay in the match, right? Number 1 position.
And D'Entremont did just that, didn't he? Beautiful shot.
You're right, Pards. And look at this style. He takes the full approach, 5-step delivery, a big, powerful guy with a powerful game, and he keeps getting better and better. And look at the height of the backswing, but look at everything in position. Watch him drive with that right foot, the good deep knee bend. A classic style in the cranker mode. High in the middle of the approach, low at the end. He starts with a strike.
And the 31-year-old goes left.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the speed. Everybody is tentative when you've sat around for a while and bowling in a championship match. He throws the ball too softly and leaves the 3-10. Needs to get the ball near the 3-pin. Hopefully the ball will deflect into the 10. But once again, keeping the ball speed up is the key in the early going of a match.
And the tournament leader has an open following a booming strike.
And our statistician today, who was a great tournament leader, Butch Soper, returning after a brief illness, back on the tour. Butch doing a good job, and he was always tough from number 1.
When you win, you have breaks in any sport.
Agreed, and he's loose. Look at the deep knee bend. See the real solid follow through, the snap of the wrist. The head pin goes to the sideboard. The 5 gets driven straight back. He's off to a great start. And that's been the downfall of the tournament leaders. They can't get out of the gate. Here we see it once again after just 2 shots. D'Entremont is trailing by 22, and it could be 32 if Eric can throw this strike.
Usually he has strung 3 in the middle of the first 3 matches. He opens with 3. He is with it. Important strike for Dave D'Entremont. He's improved each year since '89, and for him there's a simple explanation.
Well, I came out in '89 with the full intention of bowling full-time. Made the show the first week. Unfortunately, about a month later, I went home and found out I had pneumonia. Went through a real hard time for about a year and a half. The fall of '90, I came out full-time to bowl again. And for the most part, I've been bowling well since. Confidence is high. I've been gaining experience every week, so now I go into every week feeling I should bowl well.
Oh, how he needed that double there, Bo.
You're right, Chris. And a bad break. He bows the 5 right behind the 7. And watch the pin action. The ball is so strong, it actually knocks the 5 pin behind the 7. If it wasn't quite as strong, he'd have struck. The 5 pin goes shooting right behind the 7 pin, the 4 in front of it. An awful break in the 4.
But he steps right up and fires away. The Seattle Open will continue at Skyway Park Bowl after this. Time friend from Firestone Golf and Bowling Days, Mike Connor, out west with his wife Patty, and watching with you. There's Patty.
Adolphson with a commanding lead of 32 pins. He's perfect through 3 frames. Championship game, Seattle Open.
5'10", 185 pounds. Leading a 2, which he's very familiar with today.
Agreed. As you see the ball coming towards you, if you were looking out, if you were a pin boy circa 1950, this is what you might see. But you wouldn't have seen that kind of pin action. In 1950, that would have been a 2-8 spare. The pins weren't light enough or bouncy enough to carry out the 8. And it's made it a much easier shot and a much easier to knock the pins down.
Okay, continuing to mark.
Eric's opponents have only averaged 181 against him, as he's averaged 224 for the day. And since this is our 30th year, Chris, I've looked back 20 years to see the scoring in the championship round through 17 weeks. 1972, the average score in the championship round was 209.44. 1992, 209.88. So nothing much has changed in 20 years except the names.
Good point. Fortunately, the total money has changed considerably, but I think not enough.
Agreed. The players and Mike Connors, who we just related to, are working to rectify that. A spare that this young man is familiar with, the 10-pin. Missed it once today, converted the other times.
Eric Adolphson, who's had games of 225, 199, and 247, and for our tournament leader, naturally it's his first match. He's been waiting off to our right throughout the afternoon to watch his opponent Eric win 3. Here he is now with the spare up shooting in the 5th frame, trailing by 30. There's his wife, Sylvia.
Dave D'Entremont, probably the most underrated player by the media out here on the PBA Tour. He's 3rd in all-time winnings among non-winners. He's won $255,000. Now let's see how he attacks the championship pair. Dave, the big guy, will start here and drift a little left and have a target in this area. So he's going to walk left, let that big, powerful swing slide out through that area.
Earning a 10. Earlier we talked about earnings. Last year, Dave earned $68,928, and that's far this year. And we're nearing the end of May. $66,695 with a second at the Fairlanes in Baltimore and a second at the Bud Light ABC Masters.
And rated in the top 10 in points, which is awarded for performance out here on the tour. And not that type of performance, as he has really dug himself a ditch.
Hurried the shot, Bo?
Just not prepared, Chris. He looks like he slipped on the approach, and it's one thing a player has to do is check the approaches on the championship pair. David on the extreme left side after a bad break of leaving the 10-pin, now misses it 42 pins behind, 6th frame.
Started with 3 strikes, pair of spares. Now a single pin, the 4-pin for Adolphson.
To make those single pins, he has not had a double wood spare since this 2nd match. This is his 4th.
Winner today will receive $18,000 and will become eligible for next year's Firestone Tournament of Champions. That goes for either of the 2. First telecast, the 6th for this man, Dave D'Entremont.
When you're trailing by 41,
Wow,
it's a little bit hotter, huh? The big man is sweating.
You know, Bo, our producer Carol Letty and director Larry Camp said I could wish my sister Florence a happy birthday.
Does Florence live in Bithus, Indiana, partner?
On the Homestead Farm, and Carolyn, Ernie, and I wish her the happiest and many more.
All right, for Dave D'Entremont, He averaged better than 230 leading this field for 4 straight days. The 5th day, we know he can throw strikes. He's had a couple of bad breaks. He had a 7-pin in the 4th frame. He missed a 10-pin in the 6th. As you can see, D'Entremont, the leader after 42 games, and he can throw strikes, but he behooves him to get striking right now or he cannot win. Going back to what I was talking about, how to lead a tournament is one way. As you see, Ted Gladby and his good friend and college mate Eric, who has a tournament in March. Going back to what I said, Chris, you got to be aggressive from that number 1 position. And Dave D'Entremont is 0 for 4 in strikes on the left-hand lane, and that's been his downfall. He had a 3-10 split, a 7-pin, a 10-pin, which he missed, and now a 4-pin. This man has been able to hit both lanes all day long.
I don't think, Bo, I've ever seen such, maybe resignation on the faces of the 4 that haven't bowled so well today. You know, get late in the game and it's just like, what can I do that's right?
Well, I agree. They have never really gotten zeroed on the pair, but this young man never gave them an opening. You know, he never just laid down and said, hey, I'm going to miss a couple of spares or throw a split. Here's the opening. He stayed right on top of them. Good match play composition.
Remember, he was our 5th seed. So now he has gone through 3.5 or 3 3/4 field and looks promising with that lead of 41 pins, though.
No doubt. He needs 1 mark in either the 9th or 10th frames to win his first championship, his first time ever in a TV Finals.
We said 3 of 17 tournament leaders have won. 4 have won this year from the number 5 position.
Very interesting. And all 3 of those tournament leaders were consecutive weeks. It was Hamilton in Peoria, Forco in Erie, Pennsylvania, and Bob Learn defeated this man in Baltimore. So it's been very great. David looks up to the announce booth, but there's not much anybody can say to him. He'll have to critique what happened here. I think he's awfully, awfully tough player, and he'll only get better and learn by losses.
And he's 30 years old, and he knows how to get into the money side of this game, as we told you earlier, with $66,000 last year and already this year that amount. So, 18,000 to this young man. More important, his first win. So, we're going to leave here for a moment. We're going to hear from Frank Gifford and a commercial.